Last night, the Warriors faced the Rockets, and thanks to some great plays by Steph, Wiggins, and Poole, they managed to get the win. Each of those three players had incredibly staggered performances, with Wiggins kicking things off in the second quarter, Poole catching fire to close, and Steph keeping the Warriors in it during the third with 23 points. A lot of good things happened during that game, but unfortunately, that's not the end of it. Guys still had issues on defense, biting on pump fakes and creating unnecessary fouls, which helped the Rockets quite a bit. John Brick Wall seemed to have found a shot, shooting very efficiently from the field, and with a little help from Christian Wood, gave the Warriors some work. The Warriors are now 25-28, still 3 games below 500, and if the team, as Steve Kerr and Bob Myers mentioned before, truly intend to make a run at the 6th seed, we need to start stacking some wins pronto. Hey, what's happening everyone? This is Swish, and if you've been watching the videos and enjoy the content, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And in today's video, I've got to ask, what is with these injuries? They just keep piling on and the Warriors can't seem to get a grip. But what can you do about injuries? Regarding the recent games, the Warriors can't afford to give away games like they did with the Wizards, and games with the Rockets should not be close. Here's the thing guys, the Rockets have a new team, a new coach, and they don't exactly have the star power of yore. James Harden isn't on the team making things happen, and Wall isn't exactly his equivalent. That said, they did beat the Mavericks recently, which is a good sign for them, but even a broken clock is right twice every 24 hours. Still, the Warriors have a superstar in Steph Curry, a former #1 overall draft pick in Andrew Wiggins, Defensive Player of the Year, Draymond, and that really should be enough to take them past most teams. We've seen from Steve Kerr's rotations that Nico Mannion has fallen out, and so has Eric Paschall. This means the coaching staff has essentially decided what guys, barring injuries, they want to keep in the top 8 or 9 rotation through to the playoffs. We can't play everybody on the roster at this point in time and need to give the minutes to our best players. This means a starting 5 of Steph, Oubre, Wiggins, Draymond, and Wiseman. Guys off the bench will include Poole, Bazemore, Looney, JTA, and Damian Lee if necessary. The problem is that things don't always work out to be so simple. Last night, we did see more minutes from Lee as well as minutes from Michael Mulder. We even saw Gary Payton II, the Warriors' 10-day contract man, for 14 seconds on the floor to end the first half of the game. Granted, we didn't see Nico or Paschall. Had there been more injuries to the squad, those guys would certainly get the minutes. While there weren't enough injuries to see these guys on the floor, the Warriors do have quite a number of injuries and have been having the worst season with that regard in recent memory. So last night we had some extra minutes to go around because in the last game against the Wizards, Kelly Oubre was fouled on a dunk attempt. Well, the refs didn't call it, but it was clearly a foul that knocked him off balance and saw him land on his hand. This is the second injury that Oubre has had this year, and if you consider the terrible start Oubre had late December through January, we haven't really been able to get a whole lot from Oubre. Outside of those spates of bad luck, however, he's been pretty good. So Oubre was off the floor last night, giving way for Bazemore to start. Speaking of injuries though, they just seem to keep piling on. From Klay Thompson being out all season with his Achilles, to then Marquise Chriss with a broken leg, to Draymond out at the beginning of the season with an ankle injury, Kevon Looney with a foot injury, Steph Curry just coming back from a tailbone injury. I mean, this year has been one for the books. From breaking records on the court to breaking records off the court, no team has gone from so high to so low in that short of a time span. While I had high hopes for the team coming into this year, it's safe to say with the incredible amount of off time these guys have had, and really no stretch where everyone was well, we really can't hope for much more. To add to this though, our star rookie, who really has a ways to go, just can't seem to catch a break. This is James Wiseman's second injury of the year. If you recall, earlier in the year, Wiseman had an injury scare, but he was okay. Though I will say that had to have been a bad omen. Following that, Wiseman injured his wrist against the Pistons and was sidelined for a few weeks. He had a bit of an adjustment period, then really started coming into his game, stringing together a number of very good performances, only to be sidelined yet again, and this time it's looking like he's out for the rest of the season. Last night versus the Rockets, Wiseman went up for a dunk and was met at the top by Kenyon Martin Jr. and he fell awkwardly, and you could tell from the moment he went down that something went terribly wrong. Wiseman tore his meniscus in his right knee. This is just bad news for James Wiseman and bad news for the Warriors. I hate to say it, but this looks like the end of Wiseman's rookie campaign. Instead of gaining experience and getting better, Wiseman is instead going to be rehabbing. Just for some perspective, Zion Williamson had a lateral meniscus tear at the beginning of his rookie season and ended up missing his first 44 games. James Wiseman's fall seemed very similar to Williamson's, and I suspect the damage is similar, which means the amount of rehab time will be similar as well. The good news is that Wiseman is likely to recover just as well as Williamson, and with much less than 44 games left in this season, it's safe to say we likely won't see him return, especially if the Warriors would like some longevity out of this kid. I would venture to say the medical staff will err on the side of caution. Wiseman likely won't see competitive basketball for the next 3 to 4 months. I mentioned this on my live stream that there seems to be some issues regarding Wiseman's fine motor skills, and almost like there may be some nerve issues, but I'm not a doctor. He seems to be very clumsy on the court and tends to fall a lot, as well as he can't seem to get a grip on the ball. In my opinion, the medical staff really should take a deep look at some of these issues, and we might end up finding out sooner rather than later about something that could possibly develop. In my humble opinion, something just seems awry and unnatural. I really hope for his full recovery and that he can come back for us for the next preseason, so we're looking at around August or so for this type of injury. Now, what this means for the current squad is a return to small ball for the most part. This means a lot of Draymond at center, but we're certainly going to miss the size and the additional body on the floor. Wiseman was starting to develop a nice pick and pop game with Steph, Dre, and Wiggins as the offensive initiators, and this would have gone a long way towards helping the team come next year with Klay Thompson's return. With this being cut short and him not having a full offseason to work on his game, we are going to see a bit of a slow start for Wiseman next year as well. This is very unfortunate for the team, but it's the reality the Warriors will have to face going into next year. So already you can see how the coming year is being impacted by the injuries of this year. That being said, it isn't the end of the road for Wiseman, and it isn't the end of the road for the Warriors. It's unfortunate that we have had to play man down, man up this entire year, but guys will have to step up and fill in where they can. We'll certainly miss Wiseman scoring, and I hope that I'm wrong regarding his recovery timeline, but I don't see any other way at this point. I wish the team well, and hopefully guys can pull it together to make the playoffs, which going through the play-in tournament seems very likely. Next stop, free agency, and the Warriors will have no choice but to get the best free agent talent they can pick up. We all know who that is. So let's go, Dub Nation. Thanks for watching today's video. To stay up to date and for more Warriors content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out my other channel, Swish Culture Streams, for fourth quarter reactions, live chat, and post-game live streams. See the link in the description. Till next time. Swish.
I thought so hard, sweetie get served. Call me Lonzo Ball, bitches get swerved.
Usually I don't get down with these girls, but tonight it's on my mind, so I might eat these words. I just wanna